Let's talk about a 12/8 blues. A 12/8 blues refers to two things. One, it's a very slow blues. It's so slow that the drummer tends to play their hi-hats, which are the little cymbals that stack up on top of each other, hits them 12 times for each time that he hits a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was 12 strikes. The 8 refers to the fact that they're probably counting them as eighth notes and time signature stuff, which is like more written music stuff, which we don't have to get into in order to be able to play this. So a 12/8 refers to the feel that the drummer's doing. And you can absolutely count those as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on every measure. Most of us just kind of count it as a very slow 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it refers to the speed of the song. It refers to how the drummer treats the subdivision of the beat. But it also refers to typically kind of telling us what the chord changes are. Now the chords are very similar to a traditional or quick 4 blues. Quick 4 blues goes like this. 1, 4, 1, 1. 4, 4, 1, 1, 5, 4, 1, sometimes 5, sometimes 1, right? A 12/8 blues is pretty much the same thing, except for the last two measures are going to change a little bit. Instead of the 1 chord and then the sometimes 1, sometimes 5, it more often than not is what we call a 14-15. Now what that means is that we're going to play the 1 chord and the 4 chord, and they're going to share a measure together. So the 1 for 2 beats, and then the 4 for 2 beats. That's 14. 15 is the 1 for 2 beats, and then the 5 for 2 beats. So here's the pattern for a 12/8 blues then. 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 4, 1, 1, 5, 4, 14, 15. Or again, 1, 4, 1, 5. You know, you'll hear people refer to those last two measures as a turnaround. A turnaround is throwing in chords that kind of jumble things up a little bit so that when we come out of them, we've built some musical tension and we get to the release of that tension when we repeat and start the 12-bar cycle over. So here's an example of a 12/8 blues. A lot of times if I was going to play a 12/8 blues, I would upgrade the blues, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. In other words, I'd make the chords fancier than just triads, but just because we're still starting the journey together and we're just getting our arms around playing 1, 4, 5 in what we call triad form or major chords, I'm going to try to force myself to play only major chords and resist my urge to get fancy. I will do my best, my friend. I'm just going to improvise a blues. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to call you Cam. Here's the 4 chord. Because you know I can. Hey, now, there's the 4 chord. I like to call you Cam. Because you know that I can. Oops, I upgraded. Okay, back to try it. I got 2 little boys, let me tell you. One's named Charlie, the other one's named Sam. So there's the 1, 4 or 14. There's the 1, 5 or 15. And now we're back to the beginning. Now, the issue that comes in a lot of times when you're playing a slow blues like this is that you may know the pattern. Hopefully by now you've memorized the pattern for a quick 4 blues. And this is really close, right? It's only got those last 2 bars. That's the turnaround that's different. But the trick is trying to be patient enough to wait for those 4 beats to go. Almost everybody does this. 1. Okay. 1. So you just kind of get lost in, we should have switched to 4 there. People tend to get lost into how many beats make up a measure. So what I suggest, even before you try playing this, is go find a 12/8 blues, like a dirty slow blues, and then just count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I heard him switch to the 4 chord. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they went back to 1. Yay. Just kind of get it in your ear as to what it's supposed to sound like. And then when you're playing, make sure you're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, One thing we need to make sure that you're aware of is what's called a stop time. Now, stop times happen in blues, which is where we are right now, but they also happen in just normal, non-blues music as well. It's really simple to get. You're going to hit the first beat of a measure, and then you're going to rest for the rest of the measure. In other words, we hit beat 1, and then we rest beats 2, 3, and 4. 1, rest, rest, rest. 1, rest, rest, rest. 1. So that's a stop time. If you're ever on stage, you're jamming, you went to the blues jam, you're having fun, or you're with your friends in their garage, and somebody goes, stop time, then just do that and you'll be fine. Hit that first beat and then rest for the duration of the measure. Let me give an example of a stop time. I'm going to play a 12-bar blues. I'll play a quick 4, let's say, in the key of B flat. And then the second time through, I'm going to start doing a stop time. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Now I know I'm playing some fancy chords, that's okay. Come on, that's still the 4 chord, it's just fancy. Baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place? That's still the 5, it's just fancy 5. Sweet home Chicago. Now here comes the stop time, watch this. Well, 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 6 is 8. Come on, baby, don't you make me wait. Hi, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? Oh. When I reached the top of the 12 bars again, I went like this. 1 and 1 is 2. Rest, rest, rest. 1, rest, rest, rest. That's a stop time. Stop times can and do happen all over and pretty much anywhere in the 12-bar cycle. The most common place for them to happen is in the first 3 measures of the cycle. On the first measure, second measure, third measure, and then all the rest of the blues is just the same. So when you're playing a stop time, the most common stop time, which is what we're talking about, those first 3 measures, just remember that you need to play the rest of the chords in their normal order. Nothing changes. Let me show you an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 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 rest. Now strum. There's the 4 chord, back to 1. Here comes the 5, 5, 4, 1. So here's the issue that comes up with stop times sometimes, is if they can and do throw them in anywhere, how do you know when they're going to do it? Well, hopefully the answer is that maybe somebody on stage will be kind to you and yell, stop time! Here's what I've noticed, is that usually stop times, other than this most common stop time, which happens on the first 3 measures, other than that, stop times don't just kind of pop up out of nowhere. They tend to be where they always are in the cycle. In other words, the song Hound Dog, for example, has a stop time on measure 12 of the 12-bar cycle. You ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Rest, rest, rest. So a stop time can happen anywhere within the 12 bars of the blues, of the cycle. But also, don't be afraid, because it's really not that big of a deal. If you hear everybody stop, stop. Maybe it'll take you 1 beat to realize, oh, crud, everybody, okay. But you'll still get 2 of the 3 beats of the stop time in. So let's talk about the word template. I used to use word processing programs quite a bit, writing books for my students and making sure the lessons were organized and stuff. Somebody pointed out to me once, Dave, why are you doing this? Why don't you just make it a template? And I wasn't really familiar with that word. Now, a template is like this basic framework for something, and then it follows that framework from then on out. In other words, if I build a lyric sheet for my band, and I always use the same fonts here and there in the other place, and I always use this and the same margins, I can use that as the template for the rest of the lyric sheets to follow. I don't have to create it from scratch every time. Well, it turns out that typically a blues follows the template set by the first 12 bars. In other words, what you do in those first 12 measures is typically what you're going to do the rest of the song. Like I told you that story about being on stage with those people and I didn't know what songs they were playing. I listened, first of all, to make sure in the second measure, did they go to the 4 chord or did they not? I listened to see if they went to the 5 chord in the very last measure, measure 12, or not. I would also listen for stop times if they occurred, because if they occur, if both of those things, did they go to the 4 chord or did it not? Did they go to the 5 chord at the end or did they not? Were there any stop times? Because if they occur in those first 12 measures, they probably are going to occur in the rest of the song. So once you learn those first 12 bars, you're kind of golden for the whole rest of the song, with just a couple of teeny exceptions. One thing to note, though, is that when you're doing that most common of all stop times, even if you've been doing a quick 4 blues, most of the time, in that duration of that little most common stop time, you turn it into a rock blues. I don't know why that is, but that's what happens. Even if the whole rest of the song, you've been playing the song for 4 minutes, and all of a sudden somebody calls a stop time, you almost always default to just going, oh, 1, 1, 1, instead of 1, 4, 1. So you've been playing the song, chugging along, you got the template from the first 12 bars, and you've been repeating that template, and then all of a sudden you reach measure 10 of the song. Maybe it's the 15th time you've played through, I don't know. And all of a sudden everybody does a stop time. Blanc. What the? What's happening? If you've never done it up till now, you've reached what we call the okay, you're done stop time. Okay, you're done. Because really what they're telling you is that you're done. The song is ending. Here's an example of a okay, you're done stop time. I'm going to play 12 bars of a normal blues. It'll be a quick 4, and yeah, I'll go to the 5 chord to the last measure. But then the second time through, on measure 10, I'm going to do the okay, you're done stop time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 4 chord, back to the 1. Here comes the 4 again. 4, 4, 1, 1. Here comes the 5, 5, 4, and 1. And the 5. Now we're on the last 12 bars. Now you don't know that it's the last 12 bars though. You're just chugging along. This is fun. There's the 4 chord. Yeah, there we go. Here's measure 9 and 10. The whole band stops. They do the stop time. Now what that means is that you're getting ready to end the song. Back at that same old place, sweet home, Chicago. You got 3 beats before you have to play something. Now there are a couple of different options you can take. The simplest option is back at that same old place, sweet home, Chicago. Thank you. Have a good night. We love you, Cleveland. To tell you the truth, that's not all that common to end it that way. What's the most common of all is to play what's called an A-train ending. An A-train ending comes there. 5, 4, rest, rest, rest. A-train ending. It goes like this. Now, those are my lyrics to the A-train ending. A-train ending. It goes like this. I don't know why, other than the fact that it kind of works. Gets in your brain and you go, oh, those are the words.